how it goes. It's your girl, Tasai in the building. We are on episode 4. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We're on episode 4. So, like I always say, I hope all of you have had good weeks, good weekends, good holidays, good times, good lives. You know what I'm saying? You are back listening to your weekly motivation and inspiration. You already know how it goes. So, subscribe, like, comment, give your feedback. Listen in on the podcast on Spotify. All of y'all listening on Spotify, shout out to y'all, because y'all some real deep podcasters. Y'all just like to hear it out. And y'all ain't even got to see me. Y'all just listening on the podcast. So, shout out to y'all who's listening on Spotify as well. Everybody out here. Thank y'all so much. Got a lot of love and respect for y'all. So, in today's episode, we are talking about change is necessary. Change is necessary. Like the seasons change, we must change. Now, changes can be intentional or unintentional, right? They can be a change that naturally happens, whether you know how we go through puberty and growth spurts and stuff like that. That's unintentional change. Or we can have changes that, you know, we allow to happen because we're trying to change. So each phase of our lives require change. As we started out as humans, we started out as newborns when we came out of our mother's womb, right? We started out as newborn. And then we get into the toddler phase. And then we get into the young children phase. And then we become teenagers. And then we become adults. All of those changes, right, happened throughout basically all of our, I would say 20 years. 18 to 20 years. And through each of those stages, we learned something. We learned something in each stage that brought us to where we are now into our adult years. You know what I'm saying? We learned walking, crawling, jumping, all of those things, etc. We learned all of those things. And that was unintentional learning. But those changes were necessary for us to be functional adults. And now we're here. Then we have, obviously, intentional change, which is, it can be moving to a new city. It can be changing your bad habits. It can be making an investment in yourself that you haven't made before. It could be just doing something different. Is an intentional change. And these intentional changes usually come because we're doing something that is not giving us the results that we want. So we decide to make a change because we know it's a part of our growth. And that goes into the next point. Without change, there will never be any growth. If we're not growing, then what are we doing? What are we doing if we're not growing? You got it. We're dying. We're dying if we're not growing. So throughout life, we want to continue to make steady changes to better ourselves. We don't want to make changes that are going to hinder us from being all that we can be. We don't want to make crazy, stupid decisions. We want to try to continue to stay on the right path, right? I know that's hard, blah, 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 blah. I know all of y'all like, oh my God. So some of y'all may have a problem with that. But positive changes is what's going to reap the rewards. It's going to give you what you really want, right? So let's talk about how we can make positive changes that can allow us to grow. Now, obviously, like in the last episode, we had our whiteboard up. So for all of y'all who's listening on audio, if you're not on watching on YouTube, the whiteboard is up. I'm going to be writing these things down. but you're listening, so you can still hear and write them down yourself if you want to. So let's look at first one is putting yourself, okay? Putting yourself in positions to I don't know if I'm supposed to write this bad. Don't judge me, y'all. Do not judge me. Hey, my brain works quick, and I'm telling y'all, my spelling's kind of gotten off track. But putting yourself in positions to succeed is a part of growth. Why? Because, like I think we had said it in the last episode, you know, you cannot do anything if you're not putting forth the effort, right? You can't go anywhere if you're not putting forth the effort. So you have to put yourself in positions to succeed, whether that's hanging out with certain people, whether that's going to certain places that you don't normally go to. These are all usually things that are very uncomfortable for the majority of us. And trust and believe me, I still struggle with things just like y'all, so I'm not perfect. I don't get on here and try to tell y'all these things because I'm just out here doing everything perfectly. No, I'm not. And there's still things that I have to work on. There's still things that I should be doing. But I have the knowledge, and that's the key. Because, you know, like they say, it's one thing if you don't know yourself and you're not aware of what's going on with yourself, okay? But it's another thing if you know yourself and you're aware of your shortcomings. Because as long as you know that you are doing something wrong or you're aware of something about yourself, that means you have the power to change it because you're aware, you're self-aware, and that's important, that's key. You gotta know that you are. You can't be in denial. You can't run from it. You gotta know that you are and know that it's something that you need to change because that's how a change is gonna happen. You have to admit it and accept it. And once you admit it and accept it, then changing is a lot easier when you're not in denial or if you're not self-aware. Okay? So, yeah, you have to put yourselves in positions to succeed, guys. We all do. Me included, myself included. That's the only way a change can happen. Okay, so like I said, whether it's going to certain places, whether it's hanging out with certain people, whether it's reading certain books, whether it's going to school, whether it's studying, whatever it is that you know you need to do because you're self-aware, or if you're not self-aware, you're getting there, you need to do that because that's where the change begins. And this leads us into our next point. Let's see if I can fit it on here. Adopting, oh Lord Jesus, look at this. This is crazy. I told y'all I can't write and spell. This is bad. Y'all bear with me. Okay. Adopting, I'm still messing up. Adopting a growth mindset. Adopting a growth mindset, right? So this is talking about how we need to be obviously self-aware, right? We need to be self-aware of what we're doing and what we're not doing, X, Y, and Z. And even when we're going through failures or shortcomings, we still, whatever challenges we may face, we're still willing to say, we're gonna put our boots on and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to work regardless of the challenges we face, regardless of what's going on, because we're adopting a growth mindset. This may not be the job that I want, but I'm thankful that I have a job, right? That's a growth mindset because you're not limiting yourself. You're not negative Nancy, or you're not negative Paulie. You're saying that as much as I may not like this, I may not like that, I'm getting somewhere. I'm still healthy. I got money in my bank account. You have a mindset of gratitude. That's a growth mindset. That's one example of a growth mindset. Growth mindset is if challenges are in my way, if obstacles are in my way, I'm going to continue to press forward no matter what, no matter how hard this gets. I'm going to continue to press forward. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to motivate everybody else next to me too. Because that is a growth mindset. I want the people around me to win too. I want the people around me to win too. So that is a growth mindset. That's examples of growth mindset. And we all need that. And I may not always have that mindset sometimes because I'm human just like you watching this video or listening to this podcast. I'm human just like you. So there may be times where, yeah, I do have my shortcomings and I don't have a growth mindset. But I got to get right back to it, and I got to remind myself when I'm going through certain situations, certain obstacles, whatever it is, I got to get back on my groove. I got to get back on my grind and adopt a growth mindset no matter what. And that's how we make necessary changes. Voila. So, like the seasons change, we will change. So let's strive, let's all of us strive for the better and not the worse. Let's all strive for the better and not the worse. Can we do that? You got this. You got this. I promise you. Change is necessary for growth. Without change, you will not grow. And if you are not growing, you are dying. And it doesn't mean physically. It means mentally. It means emotionally. And nobody wants to live a life of deadness. Okay? And the only way you can avoid that stagnation and that deadness, you have to make those necessary changes. Whatever it is that you need to change, whether it's a habit, whether it's the city you live in, whether it's the people you're hanging around with, whether it's the books you're reading, whether it's the TV shows you're watching, whether it's the music you're listening to, whatever it is you know that's bringing you down, that's not bringing you further in life, that's not bringing you further to where you personally want to be, you need to adopt growth mindset, and you need to change, make those necessary changes to be better. Okay? So, I'm right here with you. I'm right here on this journey with you, and I will be doing the same. And we are on this journey together. Don't you ever forget that. We are here together. And look, all we got to do at the end of the day is stay motivated and stay inspired. So, y'all just stay tuned for episode 5. We got some good things coming, y'all. I'm excited. I hope y'all are too. So, every week, your girl's back with motivation and inspiration.